Today, we are diving into a subject that may challenge some conventional perspectives on training. It's time to shift away from training like a bodybuilder. Don't misunderstand me, there is nothing inherently wrong with bodybuilding. However, if your goal is to achieve a lean and athletic physique, we might need to make some adjustments. Stay tuned as we reveal the secrets to sculpting the body of your dreams more effectively. By the end of this video, you'll understand what mistakes you're making and how to move closer to the lean and muscular body you've always envisioned. So, let's jump right in. Here is what a bodybuilder typically looks like with a focus on single joint exercises, and here's what a lean and aesthetic physique resembles. So, what are the downsides of training like a bodybuilder? A frequent mistake in traditional bodybuilding is the excessive focus and isolation exercises, also known as single joint exercises. These workouts target just one muscle group at a time. Although these exercises do have their place, relying exclusively on them may not be the most effective strategy for attaining that lean and aesthetic appearance. Instead, we should prioritize compound movements exercises that work multiple muscle groups at once. This approach not only saves time but also fosters overall muscle growth. Let's delve into the core of our discussion. A group of researchers carried out a study that compared multi-joint exercises to single-joint exercises in individuals who are already resistance trained. Interestingly, both methods led to similar gains in maximum strength for bench press and squat exercises. However, it gets more intriguing. The single-joint method exhibited a greater reduction in total load lifted compared to the multi-joint method, and the internal training load was significantly lower in the single-joint method. What implications does this have for our workout routines? Even with comparable strength improvements, single-joint exercises appear to be somewhat inferior. They not only resulted in a more substantial decline in total load lifted but also had a lower internal training load. Another challenge we face is the high-volume, low-intensity workouts. If you have been spending countless hours at the gym with moderate weights and numerous sets, it's time for a reevaluation. Those long sessions may not be the most productive approach for sculpting a toned physique. Now, the pressing question is, what elements of a lean and aesthetic training program make a difference? Let's dig into the scientific aspects of achieving that lean and attractive body. First, we must emphasize the significance of compound movements. Think of exercises like squats, deadlifts, and bench presses. These movements not only save you time but also target multiple muscle groups, providing you with greater efficiency in your workouts. A pertinent study illustrates this well. 39 participants were randomly divided into 3 groups: the isolated group, the complex group, and the control group. The isolated group used 2 kilograms dumbbells, concentrating on specific muscles, while the complex group performed a series of complex exercises. The control group, on the other hand, had no training at all. The results revealed that the complex group experienced a significant improvement in muscular performance, while the isolated group did not see the same level of progress. What does this indicate? Isolated exercises can be useful, but only when the objective is to strengthen a particular muscle group. However, for considerable gains in muscle strength and to build a leaner physique, these isolated exercises should give way to more complex and closed kinetic exercises. Next, let's explore the idea of progressive overload. This concept isn't as complex as it seems. It's about gradually increasing the stress you place on your muscles over time. This is essential for building lean muscle and achieving that defined look. Here's a study that highlights the importance of progressive overload. The research aimed to compare 2 resistance training programs, one that increased load while maintaining a constant number of repetitions, and the other that increased repetitions while keeping the load steady. The goal was to determine how these strategies impacted lower body muscle hypertrophy, strength, and endurance in resistance-trained individuals over an 8-week period. Both methods, increasing either repetitions or load, proved to be effective strategies for enhancing muscle adaptations over the 8-week training cycle. This indicates that progressive overload is indeed a promising method for aesthetic development. So, What does a successful training program look like if you want to maximize gains and achieve a leaner physique? Now that we've examined the flaws of traditional bodybuilding, let's concentrate on creating an effective training program that gets you closer to that lean aesthetic body. First and foremost, you must include resistance training in your regimen if you're striving for muscle definition. It's not as complicated as it sounds, it simply involves lifting weights. This type of training helps to tone and shape your muscles, resulting in a lean and defined appearance. Consider this study. The goal of the systematic review was to identify and assess literature that specifically tested the influence of resistance training, particularly weightlifting, on body image in adults. So, what's the conclusion? Resistance training appears to improve body image in adults, but there's an important caveat. We need more high-quality studies with rigorous testing methods and robust designs for future research. Always prioritize compound movements, as mentioned earlier. Move away from spending excessive time on isolation exercises. Squats, deadlifts, and bench presses should become your new best friends as they engage multiple muscle groups, aiding you in achieving a more balanced and proportional physique. The best part? You'll spend less time at the gym and see better results. Next on our agenda is high-intensity interval training, commonly referred to as HIIT. This is a game changer for fat loss. HIIT entails short bursts of intense exercise followed by brief rest periods, acting like a turbo boost for your metabolism and enabling you to burn calories more efficiently. Incorporating HIIT into your routine is a fantastic method to lose that extra body fat and showcase your hard-earned muscles. Take a look at this study. 30 participants, both the male and female, were randomized into two groups. One group performed low-volume, high-intensity training, while the other engaged in high-volume bodybuilding techniques. Both groups trained twice a week for 10 weeks and exhibited notable improvements in muscular performance with significant effect sizes. But the results showed that HIIT produced significantly greater gains in muscle performance for most of the exercises tested compared to traditional bodybuilding methods. What's the key takeaway? HIIT seems to excel at maximizing gains while helping you achieve a leaner physique. For all the skeptics of cardio out there, let's clear up some misconceptions. Cardio is not the enemy of aesthetics. It plays a vital role in fat loss, so integrating it into your routine is essential for reaching your physique goals. Here's an important point: your training program needs to be well-rounded. It's not just about lifting weights, it's about finding the right balance. Combining strength training with cardio will provide you the best of both worlds. Let's break down this study that examines the dose-response relationships between aerobic physical activity and muscle strengthening exercises in relation to overall mortality risk. The objective of this research was to pinpoint the optimal amount of aerobic activity and strength training needed to enhance our chances against all-cause mortality compared to those who do not engage in any aerobic physical activity. Engaging in just 1 hour per week led to a significant reduction in mortality risk, with the ideal amount being 3 hours per week, after which the risk plateaued. This was applicable for both men and women, as well as for individuals younger and older than 60. Additionally, muscle strengthening exercise was shown to confer further reductions in mortality risk, even with just 1 session per week. However, the benefits diminished after 7 sessions per week. The essential takeaway here is that the minimum effective dose for reducing mortality risk significantly through aerobic physical activity is 1 hour per week of moderate or vigorous activity, with added benefits observed up to 3 hours per week. For our older population, slight reductions in mortality risk were noted beyond this point. Don't forget to include muscle strengthening exercises 1 to 2 times a week, as they provide additional risk reduction benefits. Now that we have addressed the training aspect, let's talk about nutrition. You're probably curious about diet and nutrition, and what you consume plays a critical role in reaching your physique goals. First, let's emphasize the importance of a calorie-controlled diet. It serves as the foundation of your aesthetic journey. Consuming the right number of calories is essential for maintaining a healthy weight and achieving that lean physique. let's examine the impact of varying energy intake in combination with progressive resistance training on the ultimate bodybuilding goals of muscle mass and body fat. Consider this study involving 11 male participants who were randomly assigned to two groups, one with higher energy intake and the other with moderate energy intake. Notable changes in body fat were only observed in the higher energy intake group, which saw a significant increase of 7.4%, compared to a modest change of 8% in the moderate energy intake group. Regarding muscle mass, both groups experienced considerable gains. However, the higher energy intake group exhibited a greater increase of 2.7% growth, while the moderate group lagged as 1.1%. This demonstrates that higher energy intake can indeed influence muscle growth outcomes. The amount of food you consume, combined with your commitment to resistance training, results in significant improvements in both muscle mass and body fat. It's a careful balance between your energy intake and physical training, with the outcomes clearly illustrating how nutrition affects body composition. Now, let's talk about protein, the essential building block for muscles. If you're striving for a toned appearance, it's vital to ensure you have sufficient protein intake. Protein is crucial for maintaining your hard-won muscle mass, especially when you're in a calorie deficit. Therefore, whether you prefer chicken, fish, eggs, or plant-based options, ensure your diet includes ample protein. According to the American College of Sports Medicine, the rate of muscle protein synthesis should surpass that of muscle protein breakdown, and this optimal balance occurs right after an effective workout. But how much protein should you aim for if you're regularly lifting weights or training for a marathon? It is recommended to consume between 1.2 to 1.7 grams of protein for every kilogram of body weight daily. To put this into context, for a hypothetical person weighing 75 kilograms, they should increase their protein intake from a baseline to a daily range of 75 to 128 grams. The encouraging news is that you can achieve this protein goal solely through your diet. There's no need for additional protein or amino acid supplements. It's all about providing your body with the right fuel and allowing it to handle the rest. Remember, it's not about depriving yourself or adhering to extreme diets. It's about making sustainable choices that match your fitness objectives. Moderation is essential, and discovering a balance that suits you will enhance the enjoyment and longevity of your fitness journey. Most importantly, it's essential to recognize that your nutrition and training are interconnected. This collaboration will accelerate your progress towards your aesthetic goals more effectively. However, one crucial point to understand is that consistency is your strongest ally. Rome was not built in a day, and the same goes for your ideal physique. In this video, we will explore how to establish a consistent routine,